What's up, guys? It is March. It's College SportsCast, and we love this time of year. And this is the Big Fuss.
Can I please have your attention?
What's all the commotion around here?
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.
All right, guys, welcome in. It's College SportsCast. I am Brad, and I've got John here with me. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
It's Tuesday night, and Kentucky got a win. Imagine that.
Yeah, well, to be fair, they wasn't really playing top-notch competition.
Hey.
I mean,
I'll take it. That's all I'm saying. I'll take it. All right. Before we get going here at the Big Fuss Show, this is week 28. This is season 3. If you are with us on Facebook, we appreciate you. You can help support us by sending stars. You can also help support us by subscribing to our Facebook page now. It's only 99 cents a month. It does give you your own chat, and it gives you your own subscribers page. These are just for subscribers, and we appreciate you. It does help us continue to do things for you guys and make more content, so we appreciate that. All right, what's up, Jerry? Glad to see you on here with us. I did not put this show in, so I did not get to invite people like I normally do. So it's good to see you on here with us, Jerry. We appreciate you, man. So normally I put these shows in and invite people and that kind of stuff, and I did not get to that today. I've had a very busy day. So much going on with family and things going on in my life that is just crazy. To be quite honest with you, the last few weeks has been just off the charts busy, not even playing. But hopefully, we can get on the mend here with a few things in family and get back to some normalcy. Would be pretty sweet. That's all I'm saying. But all right. So here with the Big Fuss Show, we try to do some hot topics and debates and a few things that's going on around college sports. So we're going to get started with some football stuff, to be honest with you. We try to cover all the main sports here. And John, hopefully you've seen this today. The ACC has settled their lawsuits with Clemson and Florida State.
I had not seen this today. I've not even paid attention to football. Let's just be honest.
Clemson and Florida State, like a year ago, sued the ACC, trying to sue to get out. This was in the midst of all the changeover between conferences and stuff. And Florida State had in mind that they were going to make a shit ton of money, to be honest with you, going to the Big Ten or the SEC. And I thought it was kind of funny, to be honest with you. I don't think anybody really wanted them, which I thought was kind of funny myself. And then Clemson decided to join suit because they feel like they don't get enough money from the ACC. And to be completely honest with you, they felt like they should get a bigger share than the Virginias and the Virginia Techs and the Louisvilles and other teams, to be 100% honest with you. And John, this settlement actually is probably going to give them a $10 or $15 million boost. And some of the other teams in the ACC may lose up to $7 million in this settlement that they normally had been getting. So 40% of it's going to be equal. 60% of it is going to me see if I get this right. 60% of this settlement of the money that the ACC gets is going to go by fan viewership over a 5-year period. So if your fans are watching more of the ACC games than the other teams, you're going to get more money each year. Does that sound like, if I was the other schools in the ACC, I'd be a little bit ticked off at Clemson and Florida State.
Yeah, I kind of would be too, a little bit.
I mean, no, North Carolina and NC State, though, was unhappy with things. They never actually filed lawsuits against the ACC. So, Stephen, the answer is no. No other schools filed lawsuits except for FSU and Clemson. That's why I said it was just a settlement with Clemson and FSU. But I just, if you're Syracuse, who is, been in the ACC now for, 10 years or whatever it's been a little while, 8 years, 10 years. I mean, if you're Syracuse and you don't have quite the viewership, your money's going to be docked. Let's say you were supposed to get this past year, I think they got like 42 million or something, 41, 42 million. That was an even share. All right. Well, you may lose $5, $6, $7 million. You may be at 35 million, and Florida State, who was supposed to get 42, is going to get 50. Because their 5-year viewership is a little higher than yours. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how you keep everybody happy. All these other universities, the ACC has grown to what, John, 17 or 18 teams now?
Yeah, something to that. Something to that.
18, I believe.
I think it's 18. Yeah.
They added Cal and Stanford and SMU. Now, I think it's 18 in all the other sports and 17 in football because Notre Dame won't join the conference in football. But they are in the ACC and everything else. So it's 18 in like basketball and baseball and everything else. But I think it's 17 in football. But I just, if you're these other teams, other schools, how did they get that passed? Can you explain to me how they went to Virginia and said, oh, by the way, we got to settle with Clemson and Florida State, and we need you to take a pay cut? What would you do, John?
I'd be pretty pissed.
I mean, I don't know. I don't understand how. So if you're lower on the totem pole as far as fan viewership, this is TV viewership, and they are going to do it over a 5-year period. So I think this starts in 2026. I think is what I saw, and it'll be like the last 5 years up to that. You'll get a bigger share over the 60% of revenue that comes in. And that's what it is. It's just really weird to me. But I will say this keeps Clemson and FSU in the ACC. They're not going anywhere. They have agreed to the settlement to not go anywhere. There is an opt-out, I think, after 2030 or 2031, something like that. So we'll see in the future, 5-6 years down the road, if FSU and Clemson tries to get out again, but they are locked in over the next 5-6 years with this settlement. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, it does settle all this conference realignment bullcrap that's been going on, right?
Yeah, it settles a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess that's a good thing or a good part about it, I guess. All right. A couple other real quick things that's going on in football. I just want to send our prayers and thoughts to Hugh Freeze. He announced this week that he has prostate cancer. They do think they caught it early. He is going to continue to coach. He's going to continue to do everything through it all, but he does have a little bit of a battle here to go through. And here at College SportsCast, I just want to say, prayers and thoughts to Hugh Freeze and the Auburn family, football family down there.
Yeah. It's kind of tough luck there. I mean, he's a family guy, and they built a really good family tradition at Ole Miss, and all the prayers to him.
Yep. And then the next thing real quick, John, I thought you'd find this interesting. Texas.
Not Ole Miss. I mean Auburn. I said Ole Miss.
He was at
Ole Miss, but it was Auburn.
Yeah. Texas is looking to add Neil Brown to their staff. So Stark is trying to take a page out of the Nick Saban playbook, I believe, and add him as a staffer, not as a coach, but as a behind-the-scenes staffer to the team, kind of like Saban did to Stark to kind of rejuvenate his career, to be quite honest with you. And Neil Brown, who was just let go at West Virginia, may have an opportunity. He's been a play caller, been at Kentucky, been a play caller, been at Troy as a head coach, West Virginia as a head coach. He actually had a winning record at West Virginia. Wasn't great, but it was like 35-31 or something like that.
Yeah. And
had a winning record at West Virginia, but they let him go to rehire Rich Rodriguez, who they fired, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that, which a retread. I don't know. I don't get it. That'd be like us hiring Joker back.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Please don't let that happen. But, John, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about Neil Brown going to Texas as a staffer?
I think it's a good move.
He's been a play caller in college football for a long time.
Well, a lot of these coaches, they get recycled back to trying to figure out how they can revive their career and fix their career. And I think Neil Brown is a good example of that. He kind of needs to sit under somebody for a little bit and not try to rush back into being a head coach, because I think, there was a lot of ups and downs at West Virginia. And I think being able to go to a place like Texas, sit under Sark would be a major plus for his career and moving forward.
All right, John, we're going to get to some women's basketball stuff. Today was kind of a conference awards day all around the country. I'm going to start real quick. In the ACC, Hannah Hidalgo not only won Conference Player of the Year, but she also won Defensive Conference Player of the Year. So she was the Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year, a sophomore at Notre Dame. She still has 2 full years left.
Yeah, she's one of the best defensive players in the country. She can score. Just not her. That whole Notre Dame backcourt is lethal when they're playing. Props to Hannah Hidalgo. She deserves that award. She's been really good this year.
Yeah, that was in the ACC. Big 12. Haley Van Lith was named the newcomer Big 12 Player of the Year, and she was also named the conference Big 12 Player of the Year. So she claimed 2 awards out of the Big 12 as well. And what she's done at TCU, they've only won the most games they've ever won. They've never won a conference championship, and they beat BYU over the weekend. John claimed their first Big 12 title. And Haley Van Lith has been, I mean, honestly, she's been quite astonishing. She's always been good.
I think you meant Baylor.
Oh, yeah, I meant Baylor. What'd I say?
BYU.
Oh, yeah, I meant Baylor's who I meant.
Yeah.
They beat Baylor over the weekend for the title.
Yeah.
It was a matchup at Waco over the weekend. But Haley Van Lith has always been a really special player. She was really good at Louisville. She transferred to LSU. She kind of had her up and downs at LSU. She had some good moments. She had some bad moments. That was with Angel Reese last year. And then I think a lot of people thought she might go to the WNBA. She announced she was coming back to college, but she was going to transfer. She winds up going to TCU, and I think a lot of people questioned that.
They did. But she made the right choice. There was a lot of talk that she would go back to LSU. But I think she wanted to create her own path. And to be honest, I don't much blame her in that regard.
But they're having a really special year. I mean, John, they're in position for maybe a 2 seed, possibly.
Yeah, and she's really the one that really bumped up Louisville and got them to where they are today.
Yeah.
So
one of them, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then John, SEC. I got a couple of them that's pretty special for me. I, of course, cover Kentucky women's basketball, and Georgia Amore was named SEC Newcomer of the Year in the SEC. She was also a first-team All-SEC selection. Georgia Amore was. And then Clara Strack, a sophomore, was named SEC Defensive Player of the Year. She was named to the first-team defensive team, SEC, and the second-team All-SEC player of teams.
Yep.
So some really big awards, really big honors for the 2 girls that we talked about last night right here, College SportsCast, the Big Blue Hoops Cast. I was talking about how important these 2 girls have been that came with Kenny Brooks and how important they've been.
Yeah, big pieces to this thing.
And those are really, for both girls to come in, transfer from the ACC, and to come into the powerhouse that the SEC is. And then Clara Strack, before Elizabeth Kentley went down last year, she barely played. 12 minutes a game.
Yeah.
And then to transfer here and to be named SEC Defensive Player of the Year, pretty special.
Yep.
She's had an amazing year, and got to give them their flowers. Madison Booker was named SEC Player of the Year, Texas. And Vic Schaefer, the Texas coach, was named Coach of the Year in the SEC. And then Freshman of the Year, none other than Michaela Blakes Vanderbilt was the freshman of the year,
Mhm.
SEC. John, I thought she would get it, but there was a little bit of me that still said that they might give it to Joyce Edwards,
Yeah,
South
just
Carolina.
I thought that would be one of the cases too, but it's hard to deny what Michaela Blakes has done.
I mean, I think Michaela Blakes is definitely the one that should have got it. I'm just saying the coaches vote on this. This is all coaches. The coaches can't vote for their own players, so they have to vote for somebody else. And the coaches vote on this. And I kind of thought, because Joyce Edwards was the number 2 player, Sarah Strong at UConn, and Joyce Edwards was number 2. Michaela Blakes was high, but she wasn't that high. And what she's done coming into the SEC has been none other than amazing. 55, 53, 36, 34. I mean, she's had a fantastic, just stellar. Freshman season at Vanderbilt. So very deserving. Jerry, absolutely agree. And yes, Michaela Blakes did get that. And she was either first or second team. I have to go back and look. I can't remember if she was first or second team All SEC. I know Joyce Edwards was first team. I remember that on the women's side of things. All right, so I am headed to the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. It starts tomorrow. I will be going down Thursday morning, but the tournament starts tomorrow. The opening rounds are tomorrow. John, surprisingly, Tennessee plays tomorrow in the opening rounds.
That's what happens when you lose the game to Georgia, and
I want to give you a little tidbit here. Tennessee is 9th, okay? It is the lowest seeding in the SEC tournament that Tennessee women have ever had. The Lady Vols, it's the lowest seeding they've ever had. And I saw a little thing here today, and I've been saying, Kelly Harper last year had Tennessee at 10-6.
Mm-hmm.
Kim Caldwell first year, and they had 7 seniors on this team, okay, back. Kim Caldwell's 8-8 and is in a 9th seed, the Lady Vols' lowest seeding ever in the SEC tournament. Just want to throw that out, John. We've been talking about the job that Kim Caldwell had done all year, and I thought she had done really well. She's done good in recruiting, but she had 7 seniors on senior night, and they kind of struggled down the stretch.
They did.
When it mattered the most. I think right now they've probably dropped out of the top 16.
Yeah, they're probably out of that.
Yeah. All right, so the tournaments actually start. Some of the women's conference tournaments actually started today. And one thing I kind of like about the women's game. So all the big, ACC, Big Ten, all of them are this week, all right, and this weekend. And then they actually have a week off before Selection Sunday. And it gives you some practice time. It gives you some rest time. And I'll give you one other thing about the women's game that's different than the men's. Because they have this week off, the conference tournaments matter. So if you make it to Saturday, if you make it to the semifinals, if you make it to the championship game, if you win your conference tournament, there's a week in between. So they actually matter. The games mean something, and the winners will lock up higher seeding.
Yep.
And in the men's game anymore, the darn finals and who wins these tournaments don't seem to matter anymore as far as seeding goes in the NCAA tournament.
Now, I think some of the bubble games matter, but beyond that, it's kind of black and white when it comes to some of the tournament games.
Steven, I'm going to be honest with you. I was there last year. You're asking me who my pick would be for the women's SEC tournament. I was there last year. I seen the crowd that South Carolina brings to Greenville. It's in South Carolina. It's only about 45 minutes to an hour from Columbia, which is where they play. Their crowd is amazing. It's almost like Kentucky basketball, the men's. I mean, it's amazing, to be honest with you. They're 18,000 strong. And if you're asking me to really pick a winner, it's going to be awfully hard for anybody to beat South Carolina and the talent they have in South Carolina.
Yep.
It's going to be really hard. Now, I think Texas will have some say so. I think Texas could probably get the job done. And I'm not going to completely rule out that Kentucky couldn't do it.
No.
I think we showed on Sunday that we could play with this team. I don't think they're extremely tall. I think Kentucky has some size advantage, and I think they could use that. And, you know, if we can knock down shots and not have quite so many turnovers at the end of a game, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Kentucky couldn't get it done. But I think LSU without Flau'jae Johnson is going to be somewhat of an issue. They still have two good players with Michaela Williams and Anissa Morrow. I'm not going to say they don't. They have two really good players. But Flau'jae Johnson is their leading scorer on the team.
Yeah.
Almost 19 a game. And I think it's going to matter. And NCAA tournament, we will talk a little bit more about that next week.
Yeah.
Leading up to that. All right. Little break here. Stadium Rent. You go to stadiumrent.com. Check us out. We're writing tons of articles. I had a new women's SEC basketball tournament article out yesterday. John had one out about preview the Kentucky LSU game that we just watched a little bit ago. So we have lots of stuff going on there. Check us out on stadiumrent.com. We appreciate Stadium Rent. We're a part of Stadium Rent. You see that logo in the top right-hand corner of the screen here. All right, John. I want to ask you, we're going to get to basketball now. I want to ask you about Cooper Flagg and Duke. There's been a lot been going on. Duke's been just killing folks in the ACC. Their last 4 or 5 games, man, I mean, they just been beating teams 30, 40, 50 points. The ACC is beginning to look like a bunch of high school teams. I'm not sure what's going on over there, but they have just been killing folks in the ACC. And I've been hearing some rumbles, you know, that Duke's the odds-on betting favorite to win, to win it all. I kind of want to get your stance. What's your stance right now on Cooper Flagg and Duke?
I mean, I love this team. I think, you know, they play really good defense. Cooper Flagg just does his thing. You know, when they're clicking, it's a whole different animal. Now, they're probably in that tier with Auburn. when it's all said and done. They're a really good rebounding team in the paint. Evans is a guy that I would be watching out for in the tournament. He's a guy that can step out and hit shots. Proctor, I think he's been hurt a little bit here and there. This Duke team has a really, really good chance to.
What about the big guy in the middle? That
Mulak, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's really, really good. Duke is one of those teams that they haven't really played a team with a pulse. But it seems like every time they've been stepped up to the challenge, though, they take advantage of that and they win. They beat Illinois pretty handily, which Illinois is playing a lot better now. But they're really not going to get – I think they get tested this weekend. They play North Carolina and Chapel Hill. I think this is a great opportunity for North Carolina to get back in that, which they're already back in the mix for the tournament. They won tonight again, beat Virginia Tech. North Carolina probably wins this game. They're probably a lock. But overall, I love this Duke team. I think
you're
Cooper
probably
Flag,
right. If North Carolina beats Duke this weekend, they probably are a lock.
and I just like this Duke team. I think when it's all said and done, they'll be with Auburn.
I'm just going to flip it out. I'm going to ask, okay? After next Sunday, when the brackets come out and we're filling out our brackets, I'm not going to go all out here, but is Duke going to be a team that you're going to think about taking to the Final Four?
Yes.
In your bracket?
I am.
I'm not going to go all the way to the end just yet. But when you're filling out your bracket, I just thought I'd ask you, is Duke going to be a team that you would consider to the Final Four?
Yeah, I think they're one of my Final Four teams.
So, I mean, for me, listen, I think Cooper Flag is a generational talent, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I don't think you see a player of his caliber as young as he was. He was 17 when the season started. I do have a question about Cooper Flag, though, because everybody's assuming that he's going to the pros, that he'll be in the NBA. Everybody's talking about whether he will go or whether he won't. And I got a question, because his birthday is not till the end of November, 1st of December, I think.
Yeah.
And when this season started, he was 17. He actually has a twin brother that's still playing high school basketball. And Cooper Flag went a year ahead so he could be at Duke this year. My question to you is this. How is he even eligible to be in the draft? I thought you had to be 1 year removed from high school and or 19.
That's a great question, because I'm not
he
real
will
sure.
not be 19. He won't be 19 till the 1st of December. Well, this year, 20 and 25. But he won't be 19.
Well, and a lot of people think that, and a lot of people are trying to say, well, he's going to come back, and it would be a downright stupid decision.
But wait a second. What if he's just not eligible and people hadn't? Because I don't think he would be. Because you're supposed to be 1 year removed from your original class, not from because you jumped ahead. It's when your class would graduate. Well, his class don't graduate to this year. He actually has a twin brother that is still playing high school basketball, or he has been. I don't know if he's been knocked out of tournaments or what, but that's going to Maine next year to play in Maine at Maine University or Maine, whatever.
Mm-hmm. I haven't really kept up with the age limit thing to really know.
I don't know. I just thought I'd throw it out here. We always talk about hot topics and debates and stuff. And I've heard him say that he really would like to come back. I heard him say that. And people are like going nuts. Well, there's no way he can't come back. He's going to be the number one pick. He can't, And I'm like, well, wait a second. The kid was only 17. There's no way he could be eligible.
Here's the problem you got, though. If you come back and you risk that NBA dream and you potentially get hurt next year, you ruin every chance you have at playing in the NBA.
Unless you just do something just devastating, slope, I think he would still get drafted.
Well, and two, NIL has changed the landscape of college sports, as you know.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, coming back and trying to do that, and you was to get hurt, you I don't know, man. That's a slippery slope. I would not want to.
I'm just going by the age limit here. I thought I'd throw it out there. All right, John, my next topic real quick is going to be Rick Pitino and St. John's. John, St. John's is up to number 6 in the country.
They're having a good year.
They're 26-4. They're up to number 6 in the country. They have locked in winning the Big East. John, they have not won the Big East since 1985.
Yep.
There was a guy by the name of Chris Mullins on that team. Wow.
Yeah, they're good defensively. Now their offense is a little hit and miss, but their defense travels and it'll travel in the tournament. They're probably locking up a top 4 seed. Rick Pitino's probably looking at, coach of the year. I'll tell you, it's a fun time to be a Johnny fan.
Chris Mullins, John, I don't know, like a throwback machine here, the Run TMC. I don't know if you guys remember Run TMC, the Golden State Warriors, but wow, that's a throwback.
Yeah,
man.
it's Mullins. I'll be honest with you, man. What we said the other night, what Rick Pitino's doing is just winning basketball.
I'm going to throw a question out to you here. Is he coach of the year?
I think so.
Is he coach of the year?
If not him, it has to be Bruce Pearl. I think because a lot of people did not think this Auburn team would be anywhere near where they are today. I think they was predicted to finish 8th. Auburn was in the SEC. If I'm not mistaken, I'll have to look it up. But I think it was it 8th?
I was thinking higher than that. I think Kentucky was 8th. To be honest, preseason.
No, it was 2. It was 2. I thought it would. It might have been the top 25, maybe. I can't remember, but there was some that was picking Auburn that was outside the top 5.
Listen, Pat Kelsey, what Pat Kelsey's done has been great. I'm not going to say it's not, but he's not coach of the year, not nationally.
Many probably thought Auburn would be just, a Tennessee type this year. But nobody ever experienced what they would thought would be this kind of run that they would have. I
said Pearl.
I think that's what ultimately wins Pearl the coach of the year.
But I'm gonna have to give Rick Pitino his flowers here, man. I've been really hard on Rick Pitino the last 20 years. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I haven't. I've been really, really hard on Rick Pitino. I called him Benedict Arnold. I don't know how many times. I will fully admit I've been. I think he was a traitor, and I will always say that. I still think that's what he was. I know he had his reasonings from wanting to be back in Kentucky, but damn it, you can come back to Kentucky and coach Western. I would have loved you. I mean, you don't go to the arch rival. I mean, you just don't do it. I don't understand. I mean, you just don't do it. Not in my book. Now, having said all that, man alive. I mean, to be 72, almost 73 years old, to still be doing and be tied in with these players and to get them to buy in the way he does and the way he still does it with defense, just playing all out defense. In this day and age, when every team is wanting to jack up threes and play fast pace and not play any damn defense, John. Every team. There ain't nobody that really wants to play any damn defense. And how you get players to buy in his style and what he does, I mean, damn. It's pretty astonishing, I think. You really have to,
It's impressive, to say the least, what he's accomplished.
To get these kids to do that in today's game, I mean, hell, John, at the end of the Kentucky game, Brandon Garrison, who is the 6'10" center, got the ball on the end line down there, and he backed up 5-6 feet just so he could throw up a 3-pointer. I mean, he was wide open, and he could have shot a 12-footer, and he literally backed up 2 dribbles just so he could throw up a 3-pointer. And Brick missed it badly from the corner, to be quite honest. But that's the way kids play now. Nobody wants to play all-out defense like Pitino's players do. And how he gets them to buy into that in this day and age is pretty astonishing. And I think he should definitely be in the running for Coach of the Year.
Yep. I do
All
as
right,
well.
John. Kansas struggles. It's still going on. They lost last night to Houston.
It's tough right now for the Jayhawks. They're just, they're not having
5. John, they are 5-7 in their last 12 games. 5-7 in their last 12 games.
Yeah, they're not having the season that they had all hoped for.
I mean, honestly, at this point, do you think Hunter Dickinson regrets going to Kansas?
Possibly. I mean, there's just a lot, AJ Storr didn't work out for them with Wisconsin. They've just not.
Mayo's been up and down.
They're just not clicking as a unit, and it's just, they're looking at. I read tonight where Lenardi mentioned something that they was looking at a 7 seed, and that's uncharacteristic for a team like Kansas.
They're not even the top 25. A 7 seed, I mean, is 25 through 28. I'm not so sure that they don't deserve an 8 or 9 seed.
Nah, I mean, the only hope that they really got is they, make a run in the tournament and kind of.
But you get on that 8 or 9 line, and you're matched up with a 1 seed. In the second round.
You're in a tight space there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, John. Kentucky cruises LSU tonight. Let's talk a little bit about this game. It was an easy game. Let's be honest. Kentucky cruises. That's why I put that in here.
Yeah.
But I mean, this game they needed an easy, good win on senior night. But this game kind of reminded me of the easy games they played in November.
Yeah, it did. You know, Ortega had 24. LSU scored 2 points and basically the game was over. Kentucky started, they went up 12-2, 10-2. LSU really struggled to stop Kentucky's offense. They couldn't really keep up. Every time Kentucky hit a shot, they struggled shooting, rebounding, which was really glaring in the stat book. They shot 6 of 21 from deep. LSU did. Kentucky shot 12 of 32. Too much for LSU to really handle tonight. Like you said, this was like one of those field wins. They ended the season on a perfect note in their last game at Rupp. They're on the road this weekend to Missouri, which is currently, I think, 15 or 14 in the country. They got a high-scoring offense, which kind of fits into what Kentucky does. So it was a really nice bounce-back win, I thought. Good to see Damian Collins back. He didn't play great, but they did respect him, and they did cheer for him when he got when they announced him and such. So good pickup win, confidence win. Ainsley Almanor played really good, I thought.
He did.
Just
I think Colin Chandler played good tonight.
Overall, just a really good, crisp game. Kentucky had, I think, 29 fast break points. They had 46 points in the paint. That's quite a bit. They shot 50.
They had a bunch of dunks
from the field. Now they had, from the 18 turnover performance against Auburn, they had 8 giveaways tonight. They and on top of that, they celebrated the 6 seniors. It was a LSU team that is just, let's just be honest, Brad, they're not great. I think they're
they do have 3 players out with injuries.
They're second to last in the SEC. Here's my thing. With the road trip coming up, going to Missouri and the tournament a week away, the SEC, it was sort of, one of those booster games, which we needed after a loss like we had Saturday against Auburn. Kentucky's got 9 quad 1 wins. They don't have really any poor losses on the resume. Now, the Arkansas game's kind of, I think, a quad 2, but I wouldn't consider it a bad loss. When Kentucky is clicking like they were tonight, granted, like I said, it was LSU. Kentucky can play with anybody. They got to attack the glass. They got to play an up-tempo type of game. When the game is sped up and Kentucky is open, they're as dangerous as any team in the country. And you've seen that tonight with the shots they took. Like I said, I thought Chandler played really, really well. I thought Trent Noah has kind of hit a wall as of recent. He's not played great.
I didn't really think Travis Perry played great.
I think Travis Perry has kind of hit a wall a little bit.
Yeah.
So great win overall tonight. Opportunity to really have a real confidence win.
Brandon Garrison played pretty good.
A blowout win, one that you just kind of relax and enjoy. You're up 50, 23 at halftime, 24, something like that.
Yeah, and they got up, I don't know, 35, 38, something like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, well, the second half they didn't play great, but it's hard to play like they did in the first half when you're up 30 points. Like you're trying to just get the game over with and basically finish the game. Sometimes it can get a little sloppy. So, overall, great win. We had to lead up, I think, to 38 points.
I think 38 might have been the most. Yeah.
I think there was 10 minutes to go, whatnot. So, we looked the part tonight. This team looked like a 3 seed tonight. When they're doing shooting, when they're playing their game,
it's really hard to say because I don't think this LSU team was great, especially with 3 guys out. Let's talk about really, McMahon for a minute. I mean, is he going to make it there?
It's looking slim. LSU, to me, LSU is not a basketball school. Now, women, that's one thing.
They used to be. When Dale Brown was there.
They did years ago.
They used to be.
To be fair. But right now, I think, it's a football school now. Everybody kind of gravitates towards the football.
Baseball's really good.
Baseball is really good. The men's basketball team is kind of
gymnastics is really good.
The men's basketball team kind of took a hit since Will Wade left. Let's be honest. They've hit a wall.
That's what they need to do. They need to go rehire Will Wade.
Yeah, bring him back. Yeah. There's a lot of
teams. What they need to do right there.
There's a lot of teams that could use Will Wade right about now. So
they need to give Will Wade a strong ass offer.
Yeah.
I couldn't help it.
You ready for the scoreboard?
Yeah. I'm sorry, John. I couldn't help it.
Oh, you're good, man.
That's a strong ass offer right there.
Akron beat Toledo 96-87. Bowling Green beat Northern Illinois 71-58. Central Michigan beat Ball State 69-67. Eastern Michigan beat Ohio 83-79. Kent State beat Western Michigan 77-76. Mineville Ohio beat Buffalo 84-69. Creighton beat Seton Hall 79-61. I'm just going to read some of the top 25 and some of these A10. Dayton beat St. Louis 75-67. North Carolina beat Virginia Tech 91-59. Georgia Tech beat Miami as Miami continues to struggle 89-74. It's a really tough time in Torrey Gables right now. They're going to have to get that situation fixed down there very quickly. Oakland has eliminated Doug Gottlieb, everybody. The final score, 96-72. The Gottlieb era, his first season, is officially done.
Lindsey Gottlieb got Coach of the Year at USC on the women's side, by the way.
Yep. Northern Kentucky beat Detroit Mercy 99-75. They move on to the second round. Lafayette beat Holy Cross as they move on to the second round of the Patriot League. Loyola, Maryland beat Lehigh 77-73 as they move on to the second round. Georgia beat South Carolina 73-64. The Sun Belt first round, Southern Miss beats Coastal Carolina 66-63. Like you said, Kentucky beat LSU 95-64. Purdue beat Rutgers 100-71. Memphis beat UTSA 75-70. Georgetown beat Villanova tonight 75-73. Kyle Neptune, that's a loss you just cannot take. He's had those losses while he's been at Villanova. Baylor survives on the road 61-58 to TCU. Wright State.
That's another team that is barely hanging on.
Yeah. Wright State beat IU Indianapolis 98-85. Games in progress. Texas is on the verge of beating Mississippi State on the road. What a huge win that would be for Texas to get back into the tournament chase. Louisiana is down 1 to UNL Monroe, Sun Belt. First round. Auburn trails A&M by 6 on the road with 14 minutes to go in the game.
Let's be honest, guys. A&M needs this win. They've lost 4 in a row.
Auburn is really missing Denver Jones tonight. I was going to mention that
But
earlier.
A&M had to wake up and be like, okay, we've got to dig deep here.
BYU is dominating Iowa State on the road. BYU is playing unreal right now.
They are.
54-36. 11 minutes.
And
to go
Iowa
in the
State
second.
is a hell of a team. BYU's playing fantastic.
Utah is ahead of West Virginia 47-43. Midway through the second, Florida State trails Virginia 45-39. SMU trails Syracuse 52-45. San Jose State is behind Colorado State 78-42. New Mexico leads Nevada 55-54. Boise State leads Air Force 70-37. Indiana trails Oregon by 1 on the road 53-52. Nebraska is behind 66-62 on the road to Ohio State. 8:11 to go in the game. Wyoming and Fresno State tied at 17. 7:01 left in the first. Arkansas trails Vanderbilt 29-23 at the under 7-minute mark in the first half. And that's your catch up for basketball tonight. And Texas just defeated Mississippi State on the road, 87-82 in overtime.
Hey, that's a pretty good. That's a good win for them. I mean, it might sneak them in the back end of the NCAA tournament right now for Texas.
And guess what? Trey Johnson had 23. How would you guess?
Yeah,
He's a stud, man.
He is.
He's the real deal, man.
Oh, he's definitely freshman of the year. When the awards come out next Tuesday, before the SEC tournament men's.
And by the way, Auburn's down 9 with
I mean, it's really not surprising after coming off the Kentucky win, the way they behaved. I had a rant last night on that, but I'm not going to get into that. But after them winning the SEC, coming back and having a letdown here against a team who has been struggling, lost 4 in a row, who a couple of weeks ago was a 2 seed. Now it's probably more like a 4, maybe a 5 seed right this minute. But if they can beat Auburn, they're probably right back up to a 3 seed.
Yep.
So it's really not surprising to have.
They're up 9. That's right.
I don't think it's surprising to see Auburn have a letdown here.
Oh, and Memphis beat UTSA earlier by 5. So
yeah. All right, guys. Tomorrow starts the Women's Southeastern Conference basketball tournament. I will be doing some reporting on it tomorrow. I will be doing it from home tomorrow, but I will be doing some reporting on it. I will do a daily recap article with Stadium Rant, so I'll be working on that tomorrow night and kind of updating the day for the women's SEC basketball tournament, and I'm looking forward to covering that over the next 5 days. It's going to be a fun one.
Stephen, he said, who are your 1 seeds? I said, we'll talk about that next week when the tournament starts.
We will. We'll talk about some of that next week. Before Selection Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. So
right now, women's. I know you're not talking about women's, but I would say right now, I'm going to give 2 Big Ten and 2 SEC. I think it's UCLA, USC, South Carolina, and Texas.
Yeah,
I had Notre Dame in there, but they lost a couple down the stretch.
Here's the biggest factor in this Auburn game, okay? I'm watching it. Auburn is 7 of 16 from 3.
Imagine that. After banking in a bunch of damn shots.
I mean, that's the game of basketball.
That's what Kentucky gets for playing in the Central Bank Center.
Yeah. Because there's a bank there.
The bank's always open.
It is.
Because Rupp's open.
Yep.
Just saying, it's what Kentucky gets for playing in the Central Bank Center.
Yep.
It's a basketball.
And Auburn's had 10 turnovers too, which is uncharacteristic for Auburn.
And I'm trying to get Will Wade rehired at LSU.
Yep.
You got to go make him a strong ass offer.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Time for you to go sleep, Brad.
All right, guys. We will not be doing a show here Friday night. We normally do Game Day Pick'em show. We will skip one this week because I will be in Greenville, South Carolina. However, I will probably do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even Sunday. Probably do a Facebook Live maybe with you guys.
I didn't know this. You can actually, like, if you go live at the game, you can actually do the pregame, like them shooting layups and stuff, like the girls.
Yeah,
you can show that, but you can't really show.
I can't show the actual game.
Actual game, but you can show their pregame, like what they're doing pregame and all that.
Oh, yeah. I can do all that, and go live. Yeah.
So that would be neat to do with Kentucky basketball and when they come out of the
Oh, yeah, 100%. Before game, halftime, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he said to have a safe trip, Brad. Yeah, and he's not wearing 49er gear either.
Jerry, I think I saw where you're a Dodger fan, so I'm not going to rag on you too much anymore. So me and you can kind of team up on John. I just saw that the Dodgers beat the Reds tonight in exhibition game, preseason.
It's spring training, Brad.
Spring training. There you go. I'm trying to think the name of it.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
I don't give a crap what they call it. I really don't.
I guess you don't.
You know why? Because baseball is way too long. I don't even know. They play so long. Why they even have a spring training? Why in the hell is baseball playing games in February? Why? Could somebody please, for the love of God, they're still playing in November now.
It's part of the schedule.
And they're playing in February. What in the hell is going on?
He said, I don't have a baseball team, but I do root for a couple of teams, he said.
Okay. Well.
You can't team up on me now.
For the love of God, I don't understand baseball when it comes to that. Like, they're still playing in November, and then they're playing in February. It's baseball. It's a summer sport. First of all, what in the hell are you doing playing in February?
So what happened? I guess he said, well, maybe this is not.
It'd be like playing basketball outside in December.
I spoke to many of the parents and loved ones.
I don't get it. Anyway, we will see you guys. I agree. I agree with you, Steve. Baseball is the longest thing I ever seen in my life. I don't even know why. I tell John all the time, he'll start out in like April and May. He's talking about, they're playing this and the Reds won here. And I'm like, nobody even cares till July or August.
Yeah.
Why the hell? Like, it don't matter.
Yeah.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night. I will see you on Facebook Live.
Have a good one.
All right, man.
Can I please have your attention?
There's all a commotion around here.
It's actually very exciting.